What's up, folks? Now, it's past my bedtime, so this isn't going to be very long, but I absolutely have to talk about our synced PvP intolerance campaign up all day today and then for a couple more days. So perfect, we got time. The reason I got to talk about this one is it is faction unlocked for the first time that I remember. And so you can play any combination of cards from any faction with any warlord, which is completely ridiculous. um, and just to talk about, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the decks that I'm playing, some of the ones, and they're going to be cheesy. I'm going to talk about like the cheesy, really powerful decks I've found, because the stuff you're playing against in this is completely insane. I've played against, we'll go ahead and play this while I'm talking about it. I've played against a fair number of players that are running single faction decks. They've just gone through the faction deck. They're just doing that. I don't know if they didn't notice or if they did that on purpose. But yeah, so obviously one of the key things that really comes up here is that you want to stick to a theme harder than ever, but where you've got something like Tyranids that I think really exemplifies Deathblow, and they only have a couple Deathblow cards, and only I think one of them is big, and two of them, there's a super heavy. Being able to just put in all of the Deathblows into a Parasite deck is a lot of fun. I tried that and got stomped incredibly hard. The scariest thing I've played against so far was a shield spam Parasite, which is gross. But I was trying to figure out how I would cheese this, like what I would do in something I hadn't seen. And the first thing I've come to that I really enjoy is I just searched for Endless. I did filter by highest melee attack and then the trait of Endless, and then just pulled everything from all the different factions. And you can do it in Supreme Commander Vol, you can do it in Supreme Commander Gaz, and Supreme Commander Vol is in the store right now for that 500 plasma. So that's there. But this also works in Supreme Commander Gosar, who was in the store yesterday, and hopefully folks picked him up. So you can do some pretty silly things. But just to talk about it, Supreme Commander Vol, she gets the miracle tokens when something dies, when it's a friendly or an enemy. So I've just effectively doubled the size of my deck. And to fill points, I believe one card in this deck is not endless, and all of the others are. So I get my Faith tokens, I get my Miracle tokens. Not only do I have incredibly hard-hitting cards that just will not die, but they're even more hard-hitting and will not die because of Miracle tokens. Miracle tokens? Faith tokens, excuse me. They trigger a Faith token triggers a miracle. There we go, that thing. But it's just so you can see right now, Orc, Servants, Chaos, Bodyguards against Marines, Servants, Orc. Oh, look at that symmetry. Look at that. But it's pretty incredible. And it's so. I talk a lot about being a sucker for theme, and I really love theme in Warhammer combat cards in my decks, especially Warhammer stuff. But there's something very satisfying about getting to like really stress test the mechanics and go just all in on some crazy combination of stuff that you can't normally build, and that's what I'm doing here. So I will say it is PvP, and PvP tends to be extremely challenging, so heads up on that. And then also it is locked at the minimum game speed, so it's pretty slow. And a lot of games ended timeouts, I've been finding, for me personally. I don't know if that's because people don't want to play my decks or something to do with my connection. Who knows? But I've been seeing a lot of games ending in timeouts, and that has been, interesting. I lost one copy of a card so far. That's actually a lot better than I'd expected to be doing. But I've been getting my miracle tokens. But yeah, this is a little bit silly. For Vol, I did sort by highest melee attack, endless. For Gaz, I would search for highest hit points, endless, and then fill that way. Because you're getting a Gaz auto damage trigger off of every single card, because every single one is endless, and then you got really high hit points because they're all really high hit points, and you get them twice because they're max level endless. It's a good time. But I do need to deal with these two who just are not dying, and this one especially is getting chunky. This guy's dying, but this one is just loading up in those hit points. He's going to be a problem. All right. Yeah, we'll feed you a Necron. Farron Tep, cheap budget guy who has got a lot of hit points. Same with this guy. Yeah. And then it is funny, though, when you play the slower game modes, you get that moment to sort of sit back and relax and talk a little bit. But so in addition to the endless jank that I've been doing and that shield spam Parasite that is very scary, just some things that I've tried out. The all Psyker decks don't work. I've seen the full Eldrad deck with all the most powerful Psykers, and I played a Voldus deck with all the most powerful Psykers. And you would think that just going full on Psionic Blast would be really, really effective. I found that it's not. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Could have been just the cost per stats of psychic cards. I really don't know. But for whatever reason, I just got completely wrecked on both of those decks and just put them away. I couldn't do it. One that I really, really enjoyed is going sort by highest melee attack and go with melee buff and do that in Supreme Commander Abaddon. That one's a really good time too. So this is a really good time to play with the Supreme Commanders. I did think this would be a really good time to play with Supreme Commander Shadow Sun, who I think in a faction locked PvP would do well, but in faction unlocked, nope, no. You would think it would be good, but it's not a good enough powerful ability to actually work against the stuff that's going in here. So it is a really interesting, very on its head tier list of what's good and what's not. Even Akaran, I would say, is falling behind a little bit in all this because his ability is good, but there's just so much stuff out there with all these kinds of crazy abilities that it's not enough, I don't think. I personally haven't found it to be all that effective. But I've only fought against Akaran twice. Everything else has been just wild stuff. I do think this is an ideal case to try the Lion. So I think after this game ends, I may do one more game where I'll build the Lion deck just to show the filtering process, and then I will play that just to go ahead and try it. And I'll do a quick look at the other decks that I've built because this one is fairly straightforward, and some of the other ones are a little bit more interesting, I think. Miracle! The Emperor protects. He protect. He does not attack. Bummer. That's okay. Once I take this thing down, I have a lot less to worry about. And Vol herself is just an unspeakable monstrosity at max level. And comes with 2 faith tokens to trigger 2 miracles when you deploy her. But I think I'm getting plenty. And it's just a wall of chomp to chew through that has a bunch of really good attack types, great stats for the cost, and just the miracles just keep on coming. I will say in defense of Supreme Commander Shadow Sun, I think it was the I believe the deck that I played it against was that shield spam Parasite, and that was a terrible matchup, but still. And I'm trying to think what other stuff would be good. And I'll do a quick glance at the Warlords in a minute here, but yeah. With the chonky endless cards from every single faction, I do think that plain old-fashioned Glogothrox may be really good here. Excuse me, because you just have so many cards that can trigger the damage debuff, and they're not chaff cards. They're actually really powerful cards, but I don't know if that would be enough to work. I don't know what else is in that deck. We're gonna have to see. Oh, all right, all right. You little inspiring presence here. That just might save his dudes. God, that's a lot. That is so many hit points. Yeah, Astaroth is the only guy in here who is not endless. I gotta be really careful here because that's a scary deck. Dun 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 dun. I will go ahead and admit my win rate hasn't been great. I keep tinkering around with stuff and things aren't necessarily working the way I hope they would. But good times. We also have some really exciting patch notes this season. I'm going to do coverage on them over the weekend. It'll come out Monday with the actual season launch. But if you get a chance to preview, they're pretty great. And I'm excited to play with them for sure. Do you believe in miracles? Pow. Miracle. Pow. Miracle. Trigger. Nope. Didn't do it. So he's still got 2 cards in there aside from Akaran himself. Akaran versus Vol, I'm not concerned about. And then my last bodyguard is Old One Eye, who's okay. He's got a lot of hit points, but otherwise isn't very inspiring. This guy's my inspiring one. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. He may have me, actually. I wasn't really concerned about this deck in the beginning, but that Berserk on the Berserk Fear combo is real gnarly. That's a really good card for that. I may have to swap one of these guys out for that thing. Oh, of course, the shields. Akaran with shields is such a gross thing. I really, yeah, I mean, we don't need another rant about Akaran. Akaran is generally fine, but there are definitely some things, there are matchups and some kind of mechanical stuff that makes it extremely challenging and kind of unreasonably challenging. But it's such a beginner-friendly trait in Warlord and is such a staple of the game that it's hard to be too upset about it, but at the same time, yeah, there. Oh, there we go. We got some miracles for defense. Nice. Okay. Do we do that? We're going to start wailing on this. Yeah, I can do that and not lose anyone yet. I need to kill one of these and quickly. Oh yeah, that'll help. That'll help too. That will not help. And this, I think the limited attack types of these guys being all melee is really hurting me here. He doesn't have psychic, but he's got all the other attack types. Okay. And of course, if you need a way to beat Akaran, I personally swear by poison. Poison is a really effective way to deal with something like that. Not foolproof, but it does the trick most of the time. Okay, this guy is not terribly scary, so it's really this guy we got to worry about. Give me some miracles. Oh, there we go. So I just need to kill one of these guys, and then I should be in pretty good shape. And I'm on track to kill two of them, depending on what happens over here. What sucks is I have to hit this guy twice, and he has enough to kill. He doesn't want to go melee, but if he goes ranged, it could go badly. Because if I get a miracle off on Vol, that gives me a reasonable distance of taking him out. And if I end up with two bodyguards on the board, he's pretty much toast. Or if I end up with two bodyguards on the board, he's pretty much toast. But if I end up with one extra bodyguard in addition to Vol on the board, I have a much better chance, especially if it's Old One Eye. He wants to kill Old One Eye because it's in that right flank who attacks after Vol. Oh, miracle! But I am not enjoying taking that flank damage over there. I really have to do this. Oh, I didn't need that one. Give me one on defense. Give me one on defense. Come on. Nope, didn't do it. Didn't do it either. Okay, and now Murderfang may actually have me. Hitting from the flank over there, unless I get some really lucky miracles. And I might, but even if I get really lucky miracles, I have to hit Akaran himself really, really hard to actually kill him. And I have to hit him really, really hard twice because I have to punch through his shields both times. And I don't think I've got it. I think he barely got me here, but he did get me. Yeah, it's only extremely lucky roll of the miracles that gets me out of this. And I didn't get it even on the first roll. That's right, it ended quickly. Okay, so now we can look at the decks. I'm going to do one more. And I said I was going to do it with the Lion, so we'll do that. But let's take a look at the decks that I've been trying a little bit. And to talk about some of the individual warlords. The rewards are decent, but it's mostly just for the fun of the game. So that's the Vol deck I talked about already. I also have the go on down, Voldus. I have an Eldred one. I actually don't know if I built this one. This is just one I saw elsewhere. No, I haven't done it yet. That one I may try. But the one I did do is Voldus, this one. And I would have expected this one to be really powerful, but I just got completely flattened in the games that I played with him, and it was just bad matchups, but still. The thing is that opposing decks hit hard enough in single attack type damage, like melee or range, that they were killing these too quickly. So I wasn't getting the. I had plenty of damage output, but just not enough sustain, if that helps you make your own version of this. There was also one critical turn that I misplayed, where I would deployed thinking it was my turn, but it was my opponent's turn, and he got a free kill out of that. Because not only, I believe it was Artemis, somebody who did extra damage because he played a card and during deployment he killed one of my cards. It was Supreme Commander Gaz. So during deployment he killed one of my cards and I didn't realize that lane was going to be open. And so I fed the Lord of Change in there, yeah, that would make it understandable why I lost that. Okay, so I mentioned that Supreme Commander Gosar with those endless cards would be incredible. And this is the one I did for Abaddon. It's just fun. It's got that melee buff. I tried intentionally to get a little bit of every single faction, and this is the one that people surrendered to. And I get it. It's like almost entirely legendary, and you probably could make it all legendary, and it gets a little bit silly, but it's really good. And if you need to punch through Akaran lives, that'll do it. All right, so we're going to do the Lion. And for this one, I would do because the line's defensive ability himself is all about melee, I'm going to go probably a fairly thin deck that is highest melee damage. And we'll go from there. And of course, my collection is a little bit crazy because I've been doing some handouts here, but you know, we'll do this one because it's got fear, and fear is good. And then we're immediately going to go down a little bit to kind of help give us some extra staying power. And so I'm going with Furious Charge heavily. So I've got Death Blow, Fear, and Furious Charge is kind of the key themes of this. So will give me defense, offense, and some use even after my guys die. Look at the little Karn in there. Gabriel Seth, why not? Yeah, let's try it. And if I go up against an Akaran deck, assuming it's a melee Akaran deck, I may be in trouble. But if it is interesting that I've seen a lot of the most powerful max level combinations are melee. I haven't seen a ton of really good ranged ones, in part because most of the ranged abilities are not as good in Apocalypse. Gonna do that. Let's do something unsurprising. And I'm up against a melee only Warlord, but let's see what he's got. I bet he's got at least some barrage. Oh, interesting. I would not have expected that one. And now I do the cheese, because he's over there trying to figure out which card he's going to be able to steal. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this guy here, because he probably did not assume that there'd be something that big to go ahead and kill, but maybe. And that is a melee-centric deck. And so I will be attacking first, at least until my guys take some damage. They should have dropped that against the big game hunter. What are you doing, buddy? We'll see. There was so much attacking. Okay. Yeah, and that'll kill 2 of these guys, which will give him a prime opening at my Wraith Knight, which is bad because I'm going up against ye old steal your stuff dude. But if he's as melee-centric as he looks like, when he tries to attack in melee, I'll be hitting him first and do. Ooh. Now for me, I would have put that across from the ghost and shot me. That's the way I would have approached this, but he did not. All right. And I don't have anything more expensive than this, so this is actually a really bad matchup because this is going to be the priority target until it goes, one way or another. Ooh. Not meleeing that. That was a good play, but I think he could have weakened it a little bit more before. I think he's concerned about killing it, and he wants to take it and not kill it, which is fair. Oh my god. Oh my god. You are low, buddy. All right, let's see. Chase that away. He's only got 3 cards left. I'm pretty sure I got this. That deck is not all that scary. He's playing one of the really, really scary Warlords. Ooh, I don't want to do that. But if I don't, he's going to get the ghost anyway. Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. I do appreciate that when he steals a card, he doesn't heal it. So it's going to have 9 hit points, and I'll be hitting it first. So we'll go this. And then even when he plays it, assuming he'll have to somehow hit me without killing Karn. Because if he hits Karn, the Wraith Knight is dead. And he just did it. Okay. Interesting call. Yeah. Womp womp. Somebody hasn't played against the Lion very much. Or he just wants to end this one. That's an honorable joust wave ending the game, I suppose, but it is cool to see Trazen in here. I haven't really done a Necron Warlord yet. I don't know who I would do. He lives. For now. Boom. God, the line is so cool. Okay, let's see. What else can we build? I did say I was going to try the Eldred deck. I'm going to go ahead and do it and see if I can get this to sing. And I also have to kind of figure out what well, I'll open that real quick. But this is super fun. And you're going to get wins as you play through it. It can be a little bit frustrating, but I think that you've got it. I think you got it. Because there are definitely matches that will go fairly well. I do think that Illic Nightspear with a bunch of big game hunter would just clean house. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and try that. We'll do that. And I said this is going to be quick, and it will be quick. I'm almost done. but the games being as long as they are does slow the video down a bit. Okay, so for him, we're going to go ahead and do highest range, and we're going to prioritize by big game hunter, because you want to really punch stuff. And he's a really, really good counter to Akaran because his ability does, if you do lethal damage and then Akaran respawns it, then Akaran's ability triggers and kills it. I also think that I want Barrage. Oh man, it's pretty hard to argue with that. This guy has Barrage, and no, he doesn't have Barrage, but he does have Big Game Hunter. That's right. He's got Barrage and Big Game Hunter. Okay, we'll do that one. And that's what we're prioritizing. Barrage and Big Game Hunter. Oh man, that's going to be gross. That's also nearly my entire deck. Okay, and then let's see, we can throw, we've got 157 shields and Big Game Hunter. Man, all right. And you do need to spread this out. You don't want to make it too thin because you'll go up against really, oh, this one is a horrifying card for 24 points. Nice. We could throw a taunt in there. This guy's endless, right? No, this is the ready. Ooh, Big Game Hunter ready. But there we're getting the much lower ranged attack damage. So we got 94 points, and I don't want it to be too thin, but I now have the taunt in here, which is good. We'll throw this guy in there. Goose is about to get buffed. I'll throw you in there. We have 15. That is not much. Ooh, but man. Wow. All right, Votan. There you go with your stats. Let's give it a try. There's every chance I'm going to get a terrible matchup and just going to lose because these are all low initiative cards, which is going to bite me in the butt. So I will probably be going second, meaning that they'll have full opportunity to take a chip out of my scary stuff before I get to do anything with it. Great. Now, the all big endless cards I've been talking about would also be really good with Cannon S. Really good with Cannon S. Pretty good with Avatar, too, actually. That endless spam is pretty good. But it's one of those things, too, where the one game that I showed of it, I lost, so. Watch this be a timeout. And I will call it after this. This is already longer than I wanted to be. It is, again, past my bedtime, but I could not go to bed without having talked about this, because this is just too cool. All right. Play this guy. One downside to this is it's entirely possible to build a 400-point deck that uses almost no cards over 40 points. And so I may not trigger. There we go. Goose! And then I really hope that I get somebody with a shield so I can drop that last. That's the upside to being a lower initiative, is that you get to deploy defensively, so you can actually react to the final board state with your last deploy. But I like going first. All right. Let's see you bring that down in one turn. But so he's got 6, I've got 5. Yo, But the margin for Illick's remove is 60. Yeah, so I don't even have to hit these guys that hard to get rid of them. But that double death blow is going to be a problem. So we got a death blow Cannon S is really getting bonus damage off, because you're getting the bonus attacks and then you're also getting death blow. That's pretty good. Let's see what he's got. And he's got 2 deploys here. I will say this would be an ideal time to play Etok Warspeaky, the epic warlord from Votan, because you can fill a 400-point deck for first time in a while, and you can do it with cards that give you a whole lot more variety than the Votan lineup does. So that'd be a really great one to go ahead, and you could probably go really hard ranged and just remove ability to delete card, remove ability to delete cards. All this shields and fear and death blow and furious charge and all that, you'd be able to just erase that, which could be good. Assuming this guy survives by some miracle against all that, and he did, he'll probably wipe that board here. And so I don't want to put one of my expensive pieces down because everything on my board is probably going to die. Bloop. Wow, this guy still stands. Look at you. God. All right, when he goes off, that's going to be a bad day. Ooh. And I'm in the really unfortunate position that Illic is going to be on the board before the Canoness. Now, with Illic's Deadshot ability, that would be really good to finish off this match, but it's going to go off against something other than the Canoness at this point. So this is one of the funny things. I keep building this like whole cackle, like, oh, this list is awesome. And then I play against something and I'm like, I didn't think of that. And I just got my butt kicked. So a Deathblow Canoness is one that I hadn't even considered. Oh, man, it's so cool. I love this. I love it. But I am toast. It is interesting seeing a lot of the same cards. I also really like seeing this guy come up because holy crap, what a good card. Oh god, I'm just going to get deleted here. This Illic is not built for 400 points. He's just going to die. Easy. Okay, didn't work. So we'll do the Eldrad. Maybe. Man, I really should have live streamed this so I could have a little bit of feedback, but whatever. We'll do it. Okay. I really want this card. I'm going to go ahead and do the E-Talk. And we're going to do a Precision Shot E-Talk and see what we get. And that will be my last one, because that'll be a way to remove these death blows, remove Endless, and really make a mess over here. Where are you, buddy? Oh, we're speaky. There you are. And so here we're going to do, we'll filter by Precision Shot. And then we're going to filter by Ranged Attack. The whole goal here, and higher, the highest first. The whole goal here is to delete cards before their traits can have an impact on the game. So you want to hit very hard. And one of the great things about Furious Charge is, Precision Shot cards is they usually have very high initiative. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gross already. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna stay away from the like really rare cards because I want this to be at least a little bit relatable as something a dead shot. Yeah. Holy cow. I want this to be a little bit relatable as something that most players could get to. I don't want it to be totally over the top. There you go. What's your trait? Yeah, precision shot. Okay. Do this guy, and then we have 40. Look at that. No, you know what? Do this guy. I gotta have a little Voton representation here. Then we have 51. We'll do this one. Mix it up with a little Necron in there. A little bit of everything. It's really funny. I'm so familiar with picking these cards faction locked that as I'm picking cards, I'm automatically shoehorning myself into a single faction where I pick a Tau card and then I'm looking at the next Tau cards instead of looking at all the options. It's also probably because it's late. Yeah. Oh god, Supreme Commander Gosar. But that's really good. If I can take out some of these endless cards, they'll get a single token back, but not both. So that'll deny a whole damage bonus and then also deny a whole copy of the card. And we'll see what's even in there. Death. God, what a matchup in the end to go up against Death. And really nice thematic. I love it when players do that, where they have the whole like motif around their cosmetics. It's very good. Combination that card back with that player name with all that stuff going on. Yeah, I like it. All right, E-Talk, what do you got? Oh, that was a bad move. And I should have so much damage that I can punch through stuff. This should not have been played early. I guess it depends a lot on what else is in the deck. That's a lot of attack. Oh, hello. And, yep. So he fed me an endless card to go ahead and let me take it out before. Yeah, that's a lot of damage on the drop. It sure looks a lot like I was talking about, like big, beefy, endless Gosar. This is going to be a really tough matchup, and I'm actually really happy to see this Not only because somebody had the same thought, which is always very gratifying, but also because I'll get to actually see that in play without playing 2 games. It's great. It is a pretty bad matchup for Etalk, but Etalk in this build is also a really bad matchup for that because I can remove Endless from some key cards here and there. And when Ghostar himself pops out, I can go, oh yeah. So like if he gets a kill, which he probably won't here, but if he got a kill, I could just remove everything on that guy. Yeah, those actually don't hit very hard. Blah, 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 blah. But he's getting a lot of damage buffs. And he obviously saw what I'm doing. He's doing a very good job denying me the bonus of my abilities beyond I took out the endless little tiny 5-point guy. Oof. All right, now which abilities do I remove? Doesn't really even matter. Bam, bam, bam. He's still got a lot of cards in there, and he's not going to benefit as much from the recurring cards because you have to fill to 400 points, and doing that with 10 cards under 10 points is pretty hard, but you don't really need it as much if you go the big beefy route because then everything has a high enough base attack stat. You don't need to beef it that much. Because in the latter play, you really do. Okay, you really did. So there's got to be some cards left in that deck that are really expensive. Or he just has a bunch of points left on the table. All right. Trying to feed me the stuff so he can punch through my stuff with the scary things. This is a really bad matchup for both of us, which makes it a really interesting game. I know I said that already. Sorry. Talking to myself. Slow game speed. He's got 4 more and then Gosar himself, and I also have 4 more. Doing okay. But he's also going to get some cards back from those guys, which does still mean that the cards left in there are really, really, really expensive. Okay, not that one. Is up there? Yeah. That's when you don't want to feed me, because if I'm able to, I'm going to dead shot that and just like totally remove its abilities. It's going to be a brutal, rough thing. This is why I'm so excited and pumping cards into Umbral 6, because he's just completely insane. In ladder, especially for 36 points, this sucker's nuts. And that dead shot can target warlords. Oh. But I'm still concerned. He's got 2 cards and then Gosar. I'm still sitting on 4, but I do not want to get to Etalk versus Gosar because that'll be a awful matchup. Especially now that I spent my dead shot. But I spent my dead shot to get rid of a very, very scary Yin Karn. So I think that was totally worth it. Well, I should comfortably be able to kill at least 2 of these, if not all 3, in the following turn. But do I... Yeah, we're going to go ahead and deny the Endless. And then we're going to hit this here. And then we're going to hit this here. Actually, I wonder. 137, 115. Perfect. That's still enough to take this guy out and still get the full effect of my ranged damage. If I do that, he's going to get another copy of both of those back, isn't he? Yeah, I'm still going to do it. Gross. All right, and then Ghostar's probably going to one-shot me because he's a very scary piece. So he didn't get any of the copies back. He already played them. Okay. That will take out his Inspiring Presence. It will take out his... But he's still got plenty of attack stat built up, so he will kill me here. Dang, okay. Now, he got the extra token cards, but I don't really know that that was worth it. I wouldn't have done that. I would still do just all beefy endless cards because they have enough high enough stats that they don't need anything bumping them up. Yeah, he's got me comfortably with a bonus built up for both too. Yeah, I think in last turn I should have gone Psychic and let him have. I think I got in my own head thinking about he had more tokens than he did. But anyway, that was that. That is the new synced PvP that's up right now, and it's pretty fun. So hopefully you get a chance to try it. Let me know what you try out.